People get really confused when they're buying their first BMX bike. They focus so much on what brand should I buy instead of thinking about what size should I buy, what quality should I buy, what geometry should I buy, and all of these other things. We look past the important stuff and just focus on what brand to buy, and that's the wrong way to do it. So listen to how I explain this in this answer from my Q&A live stream. Oh, JMSA says, for a beginner, what manufacturer do you recommend? Kink, question mark. Kink's good, just like Kirk said in there. Kink's good. I don't really get the question. I don't think I'd be too biased for manufacturer. I think what you should do is you know, find a bike that's right for you based off your height, based off your budget, based off your skill level, like you're a beginner. You've got to think about all these other things. I wouldn't tie it to just a brand, because like, let's say you say, oh, I'm only going to buy Kink bikes, and then the Kink bike is, Kink doesn't have any bikes that are right for you. And so then you're just tied to that and you're forced to get like the wrong bike. So anyway, if you do the free bike recommendation, I'll help you find one based off of all those things. But there's a lot more to consider than just the brand of bike. To be fair, quality wise, like there's not going to be any big differences between them. I was talking about Collective sent me a bike to check out, and it's their CS Pro. And it's $530. And I was riding it and I was like, damn, this feels really good. That video will come out soon. I just filmed it yesterday, but I was like, damn, this feels really good. And so for $530, full chromoly frame, forks, bars, has a free coaster, double wall rims. And my friend was like, well, how much would a comparable Sunday cost? And I was like, I guess a comparable quality Sunday would be like the Sunday X, and that's like $650. And I think the Sunday X only has one double wall rim. And so anyway, when you look at just the brands, you're really limiting yourself. So don't think about the brands, is my advice to you. Is look at the quality of the bike, your budget, your height, and all those other things before you decide if a bike is good. I recommend all the manufacturers because they all have different tiers of bikes. They all have different quality levels, different sizes. So like Sabrosa has multiple options, Sunday has multiple options, Kink has multiple options, Colt has multiple options, and I recommend all of them. There's not like no brand that I'm like, this is the best brand, you should always buy this bike, even though I talk good about Kink, but that's because of their value. That's a different story. But there's no brand that's like, this brand's so good and only buy these complete bikes. That's not really the case because they all have different options. So Harvey says, this is so true. I liked Panzer riding Colt, so I bought a custom Colt bike for like $1,200. Now I regret it. Damn, one, that sucks that you had a bad experience. I don't think Colt's necessarily bad. I think their aftermarket parts are fine, but there's nothing special about them. And that's one thing that I can't wrap my head around. I was talking about this with somebody. How has Colt built up such a massive following of just like crazy followers? You know, they just have a cult following, literally. And if someone could figure out how Robbie Morales does this and like reverse engineer his brain, it would be crazy, because Colt is so good at that marketing. And the products aren't incredible. They're not bad, but they're just not super incredible. And so, you know, just like I said earlier to tie it together to what Hervey's saying, is don't get stuck to a brand. Don't say, I have to ride this brand. Find a bike that works for you, find parts that work for you, find geometries that work for you, and put it together. Like I was thinking on this bike, this is the most shadow that I've ever had on a bike. I've rode shadow before, and it's not like I don't hate shadow or anything, but it's just weird. I don't normally run shadow. I just find stuff that works for me, but I'm not tied to one brand when I build a bike. So like this was all kinds of different parts. This is all kinds of different parts. My other bike is all kinds of different parts, because I find what works, and that's the best way to do it. Hopefully you got some value from that answer. Now, I do these live streams where I answer any question that you guys have for me every Friday at 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Come over, hang out with all of the other BMX nerds on the Dougster Bob YouTube channel. If you got value from this, don't forget to subscribe so that YouTube will show you other helpful videos just like this one.